We started recording. We'll start our meeting at 12:18. Welcome, everybody. Roll call. Do you have the list of the people attending, Tina?
Yes.
It's right here.
Okay, for roll call, we have Mr. Jose Zuniga,
Present.
Juan Gonzalez,
Present.
Oscar Lopez, currently absent, Eva Montoya,
Present.
and Jorge Gonzalez.
Present.
Okay, we meet quorum.
Thank you. You all, item number 3, approval of the minutes for December the 8th. You all received copies of the minutes via email. You also have a copy of them in your package. If you all have reviewed, if we can have a motion to accept as presented. Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Ms. Montoya. Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Citizen comments, item number 4, citizen comments will be open until the end of the meeting. There's no citizens present at the time, but we'll leave it open until the end of the meeting. Treasurer's report, financial update on Laredo Housing Finance Corporation, Falcon bank account, expenses and available balance. Ms. Martinez?
Yes, so in front of you, you have in your packet February 2022 statement, which is the last statement that we have available. We only had 2 small deposits, so your balance is, your ending balance is $86,050 with 81 cents. Any questions?
I make a motion to accept as presented.
I second.
Second by Mr. Jorge Gonzalez. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries to accept as presented. Finance operation and status report by Capstone Real Estate Services, Inc. with discussion and possible action on Hamilton Apartments repairs, improvements, leases, operations, and management. You open the floor, Sarah.
Okay, you got the variance report. This is for January. We started the year off strong. Total income, we were off by $592. Repair and maintenance, we were off by $900, and this was due to supplies ordered for, we had an inspection and we needed to get ready for it, so we ordered some supplies needed. Monthly service expenses, we were positive, but we were pending an invoice there for the elevator maintenance, so that's why it's 4833 positive. We needed to, we didn't get
How much
that.
is it gonna be? Yeah.
It's $4,200. We're still gonna be positive, yes. Utilities, we were over this time in January, and this was due to the water, not the electricity. Water and wastewater were very high. So we were negative there. Adam promotion, positive, and we're still doing a lot of the advertising with Sprout and apartments.com, Facebook postings, broadcast magazine. I forgot to bring it. I wanted to show you that picture. It's really pretty. So we're doing advertising with them. General and administrative, which is payroll, and we were positive there. Less OT for the maintenance staff for emergency calls and weekend to dispose of the trash. Total in taxes and insurance, we were also positive there. So the total operating expenses and income, capital, we were positive there. So the net income, we were positive $18,314, sorry. So yes, hopefully we can stay like this through the year. Can you help me?
And this is as of January?
This is January, closing January books. Our February books were not out, so I couldn't do this report for you.
What do you
for
think February's gonna look like, you know?
It's looking pretty good, I wanna say. I think we're gonna be positive again, yes. Mhm.
Because current occupancy, they're at 96%
We're at
occupied
96%.
and 96% pre-lease, so occupancy is certainly holding, thank God.
Yes, the holidays were good to us. We didn't lose residents, so we were able to maintain our occupancy higher than normal for the trend of December, January. We were actually We actually held really good.
Has COVID done anything to the vehicles?
No, surprisingly, no.
No.
In the almost 3 years of COVID, I've only had one loss due to COVID. There's been positive cases, but it was when the Omicron variant, a few isolated in their rooms, but 99.5% of my residents are vaccinated. I think I can count the ones that are not, that don't want anything they think COVID is not real. But everybody's been boosted and stuff, and we've had the vaccine drives there at Hamilton. The fire department has helped out tremendously. They kind of schedule our drives for the vaccine, so they're very cooperative. So yes, we've done really good there.
So do we have to set the end of the year to 2021?
We have
So
something.
I submitted, it's the budget comparison for, which is a P&L, what we refer to as a P&L. And this will show where we started the month and for December and then year to date as well. And right now, we have $74,000 in the account, in the operating account for expenses. Of course, it covers payroll and, anything else that may come as a surprise aside from all this. There was significant savings on capital, and that is primarily due because we budgeted for furniture that we didn't purchase, and again, due because wasn't being used at the time, we had to remove everything from the lobby so that they wouldn't congregate there in the lobbies and hang out, to keep them, isolated as much as possible.
So are there any major repairs that are needed or anything going on there right now?
Major repairs, no. The only thing that will come up is a pump up on the chiller system, but it won't be as expensive as purchasing a new motor or stuff. I think I got a quote there for, I think it's $3,800, and that's to repair the pump. The motor is perfectly fine because we had it fixed this past year. It's just the pump that's starting to leak, so we want to be proactive and get that repaired as soon as possible.
So that's the only thing that needs work, as far as you guys know?
As far as high dollar repairs, that's the only thing that I need to kind of schedule and get taken care of.
Because the other part that would come to play would be the generator, but that was refurbished during the winter freeze. They
2020.
replaced batteries, they replaced bands, oil, you name it.
So we don't anticipate
So we're
anything major?
good there.
Knock
No
on-
use
knock on
power,
wood.
Don't
we're
jinx
good.
it. We don't anticipate any big high dollar expenses at this time, no. We want to do improvements, but that we need to submit for you all to kind of review, and if cash flow allows, we want to continue. We stopped during the COVID situation with doing the planting on the hallways and stuff. We want to kind of continue that again. So we'll submit for approval on those items.
So we have a budget variance of $175,000.
And that is, again, if you look at the capital expenses, it's primarily due to all those $15,000 alone, almost $16,000 for the generator for the freeze, the repairs that we had. There's a GL, that's the flood damage, $35. And then, of course, on appliances, there were several appliances that, we underestimated that we were going to need. And then the blinds that need to be replaced. They did have a few added plumbing issues. The main lines where they start busting, they have to call the plumber to go and replace them.
Yeah, but that's not even 100,000, and we're
That
only
one.
175.
It's the rental, commercial
And
rental
then
too.
the rental, we
commercial
are
rent.
losing money on that. We haven't been able to lease the
And that's
The
without
restaurant.
doing the rehab costs. If we would have done the rehab costs, it would have been even
a
higher.
lot higher, yes. But yeah, the commercial space, we haven't had anybody sent by the realtor, or the realtor come by with anybody. The other person that was interested was your provider guy. He's still kind of panning it out with his investors to see what they can afford, if anything.
The problem here is that we're always off $200,000.
Have you had any problems with the elevators?
No,
No?
no, not
But
at
I think they
all.
were maintained at one time, right? Or-
Well, they are maintained by Otis Elevators, so they come in with a maintenance on them, but we haven't had.
But we were having issues at one time with the
we were
doors.
having-
right?
With the doors, and they were
Was it
replaced.
3-4 years ago
3-4
that
years ago.
they replaced the doors and
replaced the
stuff.
doors.
Yeah, that was like an $80,000 expense
Expense.
on that alone. So they're good, other than,
So can the fire department get a stretcher in there? In the
They can get an elevator in one of them,
Mhm.
they can completely.
in the other one?
The other one, they have trouble, they kind of have to use, and I already know the modification there, that they kind of have to fold up the stretcher so it can be, if they need to use the second elevator, yes, they can get it in. And we priced those stretchers way back, and they're kind of pricey.
and in case for whatever reason, they say that the elevators were to be down and they need to bring people down in a stretcher, they've got stretchers, sitting down stretchers, so they could bring people
Down the
up and down the
stairs.
stairs. If needed.
So we don't anticipate finding anybody for the restaurant, right?
Guess not.
I had the cook for Mr. Rocha, one of his cooks, or I don't know what she does for him now, that she was kind of interested. She wanted to come see and see if she could afford the rent and stuff, because she does a lot. Well, she helps Mr. Rocha, so she knows she knows the type of business she would have downtown. So I kind of told her, give me a proposal, I'll send it in, and maybe you can open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and do breakfast tacos and lunch specials and sell, you know. It's needed, it's really needed, because there's not much you can get downtown, so see her, she comes around, I'll give her another call.
Do we have some sort of an agreement with the broker that is right now that we're dealing with there?
With the realtor?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
For how long? Is it-
I think it was, let's see, I should have it.
$34,000 over expense on salaries as well.
Yeah, that was positive.
It is for. We started November 12th, 2021, so I think it's for the year, so I'll reach out to him to just make sure it will continue past that date.
How much have you paid out?
To the realtor?
No, until we sell.
The agreement was that he leases and he gets the, I have the agreement here, if you wanna.
It shows us a positive cost.
Yeah, the payroll is a positive because we cut back her assistant manager, just in the meantime because of all the COVID and stuff. And I know they've had a bit less of after hours calls for emergencies and things like that.
But it's added or
Yeah. Any questions?
did we ever change providers for electricity or?
Yes, we have the city's, we have a contract with the city provider.
We have a motion to accept as presented.
I so move.
Gonzalez, a second by Ms. Montoya. Do you have in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, ladies.
I think item number 7 kind of reads the same as item number 6. So, update on the commercial lease, but it kind of already falls into the discussion. So I don't believe you have to,
We'll close.
yeah.
New business, comments, open for discussion. I know we are looking into,
Yeah, well, don't, I would ask, for you us to open item number 8.
review and discussion and possible action, the response letter from City of Laredo in reference to the board request to dissolve the corporation. Sorry.
So, this is the letter from the city manager, in response to the request from the board, and from your letter, that was submitted to his office. So at this time, well, I'll give you a few minutes and then I can let you know what our discussion was. Do you want me to?
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I think this is very positive, and I think we need to change the management and operations to the city. Unfortunately, with the budget the way it is, we won't even make it one more year. We only have $76,000 on the expense account. We're always short $100,000 or more, so that means our operation will be negative by the end of next year, or actually by the end of this year. So being that the city is willing to take over the operation and management, I don't know if we need a motion to accept, but if we do, I'll make a motion to accept for the city to take over the operation and management.
I second.
A second. You want to discuss before, or are we okay in voting right now?
I can give you all a little bit of
You want to give us a little
yeah.
background?
So, just to give you a little bit of background, so, I did speak to the interim city manager, Mr. Samuel Keith Selman, and we discussed, I brought him up to speed on some of the concerns of the board and some of the concerns of the community and the corporation. So, I think right now, the first step, instead of, starting off with dissolving the corporation, I think we feel that the first step could be that if you motion for us to assist with the operations and management of the Hamilton housing complex, we would take your motion, present it to council. Council would have to approve, because you are asking to use city staff, city funds, city staff to assist with the administration and operations of both the board and the facility itself. Just to let you know, I did invite Mr. Humberto Delgado. He is currently our municipal housing manager. So the city already is in the landlord business, if you might want to call it that. We are currently managing, operating about 600 units, both single family and multifamily projects. And of course, it's all operating on its own revenue stream, so we don't get general fund funds. It's all operational funding. We set rents. We set based on the type of project we have. We base the rents They are still considered obtainable housing because our rents are very below market in all, I think in all our complexes. We do have some affordable housing projects that we've, used some federal funding to construct. An example is 820 Convent. So we do have, some of that background also on running affordable housing projects. So again, I think the first step would be, if you do motion today for us to go in that process, we would take it to the council. Council would have to allow us to take over, the operations of the Hamilton. And then, of course, we would proceed with, after they approve it, then we would proceed with giving notice to the current management. As per their contract, I believe there is only like a 30-day notice that they would need to do. So we would discuss that, or we would bring a plan back to the board so that you all can be okay with it. And then from there, once we have all the finances under our control and the complex under our control, then we would bring you a plan and bring you our budget and bring you what we feel would be the next steps. I would foresee that maybe the next couple might require a few meetings, right? A few meetings to discuss this, but then after we get going, I wouldn't foresee you all needing to meet on a every 2-month basis. It could be on a biannual basis, on a yearly basis, and we would just bring you key operational questions, maybe budget plans that we could tell you, these are capital improvement plans, these are, but other than that, we could basically manage this with,
Let's see.
yeah.
So adding all those apartments, what does that do to staffing, and I mean, can you handle it?
We would need to add 4 or 5 new staff members, new employees, administrative staff, maintenance staff, so we could oversee the operations of that.
We would actually have somebody there on site, like we're doing right
Correct.
now?
Yeah, our plan is, because currently right now, if you look at the whole block, we already own the 820 Convent. So we have someone already, we have maintenance staff that visits. We don't have on-site management there because it's 15 units. But then we are working on the Southern Hotel also, that would add 22 units. And then we would be, if we were to add the Hamilton now would have, it would merit a dedicated staff that would still report to Mr. Humberto, that would ultimately report to me. But that structure is already there, and we have the mechanism, the financing, that since we have other projects in this area, we would, of course, allocate funding from each project to make sure that salaried person is, responsible for all those and a few more. So we're working on a plan, so it would entail, of course, maintenance staff on site, coordinator, and some probably clerical.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado, for being here. If you can share with us your plans as they come along. At the end of the day, our function is to provide the best type of living and affordable living to the people living there. The whole idea is for them to be in the best hands possible and to have the best pricing possible. At the end of the day, it's for the needy, and that was the whole idea of acquiring this property. The dissolution, I think we still it is still in our mind, but we understand that the city is with an interim city manager at the moment. So I think before dissolving, we need to wait until the city is ready, and if ever ready, to take over the project itself. So if you guys don't mind staying in the board for a little longer, I think it'll be for the benefit of the Hamilton at the end of the day.
I also had another comment. The other item that we will have to be reaching out to to HUD, because your loan is with HUD. So in the agreement that the board has with HUD, on that refinancing that was done, it is that we notify them if there's any changes to management. So, I'll be reaching out to them and I can give you all the status report on what they say or what formal process they might need. They might need a letter from you all to notify them.
The timings, at the end of the day, number one, we need to wait for council to see if they agree. And after that, HUD needs to agree at the same time, and we need to know how to present it formally to HUD to be approved. And then we will move to the termination of the other contract if we decide, and it's decided by council that's the right route. So at the end of the day, I think it's gonna take a couple of months.
That's what I was gonna ask.
but,
How much time?
We foresee, after this motion, I foresee taking the first step, advising the council, by the March 22nd meeting. Is it 22nd or 21st? Is it 21st? I'm sorry, the 22nd, because I think is it 22nd or 21st? I think it's the 21st. The 21st? It's on March, yeah. Okay, so March 21st, I would invite the board and I'll let you all know. I'll send you, once we're on the agenda, I'll let you all know so that you could also go in case they have any questions. I could definitely do that. So from there, of course, we would probably require 2 different council meetings after that, just to make sure that we bring on board. I would want to bring on board my staff to make sure that we're ready to transition. So maybe 2 more meetings in April. And then we can talk about, once we have all that, we can talk about next steps on giving notice to Capstone.
How long has Capstone, how long have you guys been in the property manager?
20 years
20?
since Hamilton became Hamilton.
So there's a bunch of contracts, I mean, I don't know how that transition would go, assuming that it's approved, and we give you guys the notice that we're supposed to, then I don't know what that transition entails as far as they have contracts with providers and whatever, I don't know, you guys would need to work that
Yeah,
out.
of
And
course.
to be fair to you guys, I mean, so that you guys.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be, I think the contract says a 30-day notice, but we could definitely.
All
To be
of the
fair- to be
contracts
fair-
have a 30-day notice out.
También.
So we
Yes.
can do something longer if it's
Correct.
needed, that way we
We
can
can
have a
transfer
smooth
them to
transition.
you all and you all can decide what you want to keep, you know what I
Well,
mean, as far as
yeah, but-
advertisement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, I will make a motion to give Tina the power to present to council for the approval to take over operations and management. And if approved by council, then Tina will have the power to advise, to approach HUD and see the requirements that we need to do in order to comply with the contracts that we have through our loan agreement. And thereafter, if needed or required, she'll have the power to advise the management company to terminate the contract and the timing for that termination. So that's the motion on the floor. Second by Mr. Gonzalez. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries. You have the power, Ms. McCarthy.
I will use it wisely. No, and I really think, I mean, Sonia and Sarah have been very instrumental, and I know they work very closely with us, so I'm sure we'll continue working together.
Absolutely.
Any new business comments? Doors open for comments, new business, citizen comments as well?
No
If
citizen
not,
comment.
We will close the
Motion
citizen
to adjourn.
comments at this time.
I move that we adjourn.
We have a motion and a second by Ms. Montoya. Everybody in favor?
Aye.